As part of our ongoing series of poetry analysis, here's Uncle Paulie to discuss a poem by T.S. Eliot.
How you doing? Paulie, and I'm going to talk about a poem today by T.S. Eliot, and the poem is called The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, and it's Prufrock, not Prufrock. True story. When I was a kid in middle school, Mr. Gario assigned us this poem, The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, and I looked at it, and the first thing I thought it said was Prufrock. No lie. And she said, Mr. Gentile, why don't you tell everybody what the name of this poem is? And she was totally setting me up, right? She's setting me up. And I'm sitting there, and I figured out right before that it was Prufrock, not Prufrock. But in my mind, I'm thinking, don't say Prufrock, don't say Prufrock. And I said Prufrock, right? Which earned me a trip down to the principal's office, right? And I'm in there, and he's giving me the third degree. And then by accident, he says Prufrock. And that was the end of that. So no thanks to you, Mr. Gario, for that one. Anyway, what is this poem, J. Alfred Prufrock and his love song, all about? Well, it's about this guy, right? We'll just call him J. Alfred, right? And he's this lonely guy, right? And he's got the hots for some broad, or dame, or a lady, right? A nice lady. He's got a nice lady that he's in love with, but he just don't have the nerve to talk to her, right? He's got no self-confidence, right? He's kind of a fuddy-duddy, and he's talking to somebody, but probably himself, right? If you ask me, he's talking to himself. He probably does it a lot. And he's like, you know what? I can't talk to no broads with any kind of culture or class, right? I can't talk to them, and because I don't know what to say. I'm going to say the wrong thing, right? Because he knows that he does, right? And he's walking around, he's looking around, he's looking through windows, right? And he sees the women talking, or he goes into a room and there's women talking about Michelangelo, right? And he's like, I know about Michelangelo, right? Because I got some culture too, but I'm going to say the wrong thing, right? No matter what I say, it's going to be the wrong thing. I'll talk about the Sistine Chapel and I'll be like, how come Adam's got nipples and a belly button, right? Why do any men have nipples for that matter? And that's the rabbit hole he's going to go down on that one. And he knows it because it's like the voice of experience. And I think he probably already did it once, right? And then he's like, oh, there's more women talking about Michelangelo. How can I screw this up? Or maybe I'll talk about the statue of David and talk about his junk or something like that. So it's lose-lose. He knows he's going to mess it up, right? And so he's just, he's bemoaning. He's like, I'm living in a hell on earth, right? That's what this is for me. Every night I go out and I wander through the city and I see the life that I know I'm never going to have because I'm too indecisive and I'm a mess, right? And so why is it, right? So I think we go back to the title, right? The answers are all right there in the title. The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. First of all, what kind of love song is this? This is no love song. This is I'm never gonna know love, and it's not a song. It's more like a chant. So he knows that he can't do it, and the reason is because this guy's name is J. Alfred Prufrock, right? That's where it all goes wrong for him. And I'm thinking, you know who he reminds me of? That Benedict Cumberbatch, right? Now I know people are thinking, oh, but Benedict Cumberbatch, all these women are swooning for him. I'm swooning for Benedict Cumberbatch. Except the only reason they're swooning for this guy is because he's rich and famous, right? I mean, look at him. There's no way that women would be swooning for this Benedict Cumberbatch guy if he weren't famous and rich. I mean, he's thin and he's really pasty and he's got a face like a baby's smacked ass. There's no way women are swooning for him, right? And if he weren't rich and famous, with a name like Benedict Cumberbatch, he'd be wandering around looking through windows saying, I can't talk to women or whatever. I mean, this is the guy he got his ass kicked all the time when he was growing up. Every day he got an ass kicking. In fact, I think that Benedict Cumberbatch is Latin for kick my ass, please, right? And so, why would his parents do this to him? I mean, this is an unwanted child. Benedict Cumberbatch, don't lie. Anyway, no judgment there. I mean, I think the fact, maybe his parents were thinking ahead and they're like, we got to give him a lousy name to give him some drive, right? So they don't want to become rich and famous, and then he can score with the women swooning over him. So I think that's really the subtext right here of J. Alfred Prufrock. It's because why would T.S. Eliot come up with that crazy ass name? There's no way. Prufrock, what is it? I don't know. It's not good. I can tell you that. So me, I'm thinking about the subtext. I think what T.S. Eliot is really doing with this poem is he's saying this is how you become a serial killer, right? This is a guy, this Prufrock guy, he's wandering around, he's looking at the women, he's like, I can look, but I can't touch. The next day, that's when he becomes a serial killer. And I swear to God, that's how it happens, you know, because if you were meeting, if you had the nerve to talk to these ladies and you could get on with your life, I mean, Prufrock he's not a bum, right? He's got some culture. I mean, he knows that he's got, you know, he doesn't have a good hairstyle, but maybe that's just the self-confidence, lack thereof, talking and not really him. I mean, he's probably got a decent job, right? He does all right. He's got a good job. He's got a good car. Well, probably a horse and buggy because this is olden days. But, you know, he's got access to that sort of thing. He's the sort of guy that, you know, any broad should be able to say, I can bring this guy home to my mom and she won't be shamed. Except as soon as he says, well, what's his name? Oh, it's J. Alfred Prufrock. And the mom's going to be like, that's not going to work. There's no way. You're not going to be Mrs. Prufrock. So women, they can sense it, right? And unless he was like, oh, you mean the rich and famous J. Alfred Prufrock? Well, by all means, you should be proud to be a Prufrock. So that's really what's going on there. So that's the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. What's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is, you know, if you know that the weird kid at your school and he's got a bizarro name, like his name is Enos Van Dyke or something like that, you got to befriend this guy, or you got to say, look, you know, join an after-school club. You know, if sports isn't your thing, then maybe the chess club needs you, or, you know, forensics or something, you know, get out there, you know, or say, look, you need to become rich and famous, okay? And then once you get that, everything else is going to be gravy for you. So that's what that one's about. You're welcome.